All right, what's going on, guys? I got John here from LinkedHacker. He's the campaign manager. LinkedHacker is a B2B lead gen agency with over 1,000 customers. Really familiar with their team as well as their CEO, Lee. They absolutely crush it in the cold email space and are a customer, like I mentioned, of Scrubby. So wanted to quickly run through some questions with you to kind of identify how Scrubby's been as a platform and as a tool in your tech stack. So, John, really quickly, you want to give a better background than I did on LinkedHacker?
Yeah, can do. I mean, it's a pretty good summary to be honest. It's pretty simple, but yeah, from our side, we're specialists in cold email, and then on top of that, LinkedIn ads is also another side or another arm of our company. But yeah, it's basically trying to identify the right prospects, approaching them with essentially a warm, cold outreach, and then yeah, the success rates that we've achieved. We've worked with 2,000 plus clients, probably nearing 3,000 now, so a lot of experience over the past 6 years.
That's incredible to hear. First thing, how did you discover Scrubby?
Yeah, actually, it was weirdly directly through Twitter. So yeah, it's through a post from yourself, and yeah, from there, there's been a little bit of a, I guess, a blossoming relationship that's sort of inspired from our founder as well. And yeah, it's basically been a pretty much invaluable tool for us throughout the rest of our processing. Otherwise, we'd be sort of struggling for targeting. I'd put it that way.
Yeah, and to kind of touch more on that, like how what did it like mostly solve for you guys outside of like catch-all email validation?
Yeah, I guess that sort of comes into a little bit of our process. Is probably the best way to answer that. So the way that sort of we work is we work through using a couple of different tools, mainly along the lines of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You might sort of notice a bit of a link to that within our logo. But yeah, by making use of some along those lines, tools that we have in-house, we get to the point of having a valid verified email address. At times, obviously, the catch-alls, well, it can be quite a big proportion. So by making use of Scrubby, we normally find about another 25-30% of emails that are then valid and verified, which if we're looking across all of our client base, across all of the different targeting options that we use, it's massive.
Yeah, absolutely, and love to hear that. When it comes to the impact of Scrubby on your campaigns, have you seen an increase in reply rates? Because most marketers will just usually throw away the catch-alls and not even engage with them. But you guys are actively sending emails to the catch-alls.
Yeah, I won't lie, it's a trickier one for us to properly isolate between sort of, yeah, because of the number of different tools we use, mixing those together, it does get a little bit tricky to break it down. But from our perspective, we normally average around sort of 5 to 10% reply rates. We noticed for a good period of time before using Scrubby that those were dropping off. So I would suspect there's some direct correlation there. And since that point, we're back at averaging sort of, yeah, up and around sort of 5 to 10%. Normally nearer that 10% bracket, but it's definitely helped to improve the results across all our campaigns.
Awesome. That's great to hear. That's something we also see from our internal campaigns. And it's great to see that it's reflecting on your end as well. If you had to look at Scrubby and just kind of give us honest feedback of like things that we could improve, is there anything top of mind that comes to you?
I am, to be honest, not anything too much on the email side. I think occasionally there've been a few moments where we could do with, well, from our perspective, we need time is kind of the essence. So we need things processed pretty quickly. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer to get things processed. That would be our only thought of improvement really at this stage. And obviously, if you can find more that are valid, that's even better.
Absolutely. And when we look at like improving Scrubby from a product point of view, is there anything that you'd like to see Scrubby integrate with or anything to kind of like simplify on your back end when it comes to operations?
I am, to be honest, in the way that we use it, I don't think there's actually too much that we'd look to improve, unless if there's any kind of ties that we could basically integrate directly into sort of Google Sheets along those lines from sort of the outset. I don't know if there's any way that that could be integrated. I think that would be the only thing that help us streamline. But realistically, the way that we use it at the moment, I wouldn't necessarily say even that would be 100% key. But anything that sort of speeds things up, saves some time, we wouldn't be against.
That's awesome. And just to clarify, your current process of using Scrubby is, pulling your leads from sales navs, finding their emails, running it through an SMTP verification tool, then taking the catch-alls and then running it through Scrubby, and then getting the valids and then adding it to your campaign. Is that the current flow?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it really helps boost up those numbers. Otherwise, we'd just be in the past we were literally just throwing those away. So it's anything that we can gain, and generally it's a good proportion that we manage to gain.
Absolutely. And we love to hear that. Well, that's basically all the questions we had on this quick customer success interview. Thank you so much for being a customer with us. And yeah, if there's anything that we can do to improve on our end, feel free to reach out to me directly so I can help lead that initiative. And yeah, that's everything, John. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Nick. No worries.